Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Too Opinionated. I'm so excited today. I have got actress, writer, Malube Uhindu Gingala. Did I get it right?
Yes, you
did. Hey! I was telling you off camera that that's either a very Hollywood name or kind of like a royalty. You should like I wish I had a name that has got some gravitas to it.
It does, and I thank my parents because
they did good.
Thank you, Mom and Dad. My name, Malube, it actually comes from my grandmother's names, Marie, Louise, and Bernadette. So when you take the two letters out of each,
I love that.
Malube. So that's where I guess the gravitas comes from.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So pretty. Well, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to talk with you. So I was telling you off camera, right? This is why I was excited. You know, I'm excited for the new show, and we're definitely going to talk about that. But so growing up, comic book fan, all right? So my favorite comic book was Teen Titans, specifically the issues that guest starred the Doom Patrol. So guess what adaptation you got to be on? You were actually on the adaptation on Titans when they had Doom Patrol on there. You got to play a doctor.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, you were pretty good.
Thank you. I was going to have you back for it. So there was a lot of acting to do because there was a lot going on all at once, and a lot of yelling and screaming. So yeah, I had a blast.
Yeah, I thought they did a pretty good job. Just coming from the comic book nerd in me, I was like, well, that was pretty good. They did a pretty good adaptation of the source material, which isn't always easy when you're trying to put superheroes on the screen. So I thought they did pretty good.
Nice.
But that's not even the first time I saw you, though. So the first time I saw you on camera was Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, wow.
And I wasn't sure. So I had to look it up because it's been a while. It's been a while. So I was like, I'm going to look it up. And I was right. So what cracked me up about it, right? What cracked me up was do you know what your character was called on the show? Like if you go to IMDb, do you know what your character is called?
Isn't she like she's like a shopper or a...
Yeah, well, so it's classy saleswoman. Classy saleswoman. I was like, that's the best. You're not just any old saleswoman. Yeah, you're not just any old saleswoman. You're the classy one.
I'm a classy saleswoman. Hint of classy.
But I think Beauty and the Beast was the first time I got to see you on camera, and then Titans.
Yeah.
And that's pretty good.
That's pretty good. Right. That seems like so long ago, but I remember like being on that set and how nervous I was.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably both. It's been a while and not that long ago, really.
And not that long ago. In the grand scheme, it's not that long ago.
Yeah. But with the 2020 that everybody went through, 2020 lasted like 5 years. So it makes everything seem longer.
And you know what? I was in Costa Rica, I think 3 weeks before the lockdown.
Oh.
In Canada. And while we were leaving, like our last 2 days, like guests were talking about how, it's getting serious and everything like that. Yeah. And we were like, I don't think so. It seems so far away. And again, we weren't watching the news or anything. It was my we were just having fun. And then I got on the plane, and this lady beside me from New York had like all of her cleaning material, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
I know, it was so weird. So we went to the Sundance Film Festival in Utah, and you were starting to hear about it while we were there. Like people were starting to get worried about it, and literally like a week or so after we got home, they shut everything down. I was like, what in the world? Because it just seemed like it came, like you heard about it, and then everything was shut down. It's very weird.
It was weird, but again, like we thought it was gonna last for 2 weeks. Like that weekend before everything shut down, we celebrated my sister's birthday for brunch. My sister's
Yeah.
birthday, and I went out, but we were the only ones in the restaurant. So like, literally all the chairs.
This isn't normal.
And it was just us. So we were having like bottomless mimosas, great time.
Well, at least you got one last good time before. You know, because that was kind of what it is. They were like, we can do this for a couple weeks. It might be fun. No big deal. Just stay home for a little bit. You know, we'll make bread. Everybody was making bread and all this stuff. You know, and then it was like, well, it's going to be a little longer. So, okay, a month. I can handle it for a month. But then it just kept going. And finally, we were all just like, I guess I'm going to eat. I'm going to put on weight. I don't know what else to do.
They had some nice, a lot of people like ventured into making exercise videos on Instagram.
Yeah.
YouTube.
A lot of people wrote. A lot of books were written during that time. I wish I had that in me to sit down and write. I think looking back, I was like, I don't think I used that time right. I think I wasted it.
I used it right. I traveled from Toronto to Montreal because I'm from Montreal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so I used that opportunity to go and to just like see
some. Oh, good for you.
To have fun, and it was really, really good for me.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And you know, it's one of those things is hopefully we'll probably never go through that again in our lifetime. You know, hopefully we don't have to. I mean, it was 100 years since it happened, so hopefully it doesn't happen again anytime soon. But yeah, it's just one of those things that we're going to be telling, and like the younger generation is going to be telling their kids and stuff about this time when they were growing up that they were stuck at home, and nobody's going to believe them. They're like, come on.
That's out of your imagination. Or they'll be like, what were you doing during the lockdown? Like, I was here, I was there. It'll be like that kind of story.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It was an interesting time, and it's never really went away. We all just got tired. We're just like, okay, we're going to go back out.
We're trying to adapt, I find.
Trying to adapt.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't seem to be as potent as it was initially. Like we've got more protections against it now, but still kind of scary.
It's a day by day type of thing.
Yeah.
The day by day.
When you first went back to work, were you masked up most of the time? Did they have a lot of protocols in place?
They sure did. So the first time I went to work during the pandemic was for *Handmaid's Tale*. And we were.
Oh my gosh, I forgot *Handmaid's Tale*. You were like a mother or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I was playing a mother. And we were masked up. We got our lunches delivered privately. We weren't allowed to eat together.
It's kind of sad.
Yeah, the only time we had our masks off was when we were filming.
Yeah, I think that's kind of because you want to be able to connect with people you're working with, and that the masking made it difficult.
It did. I mean, luckily, like during filming or like when we were taking breaks, all the actors would be together. We'd still have our masks on, but we'd connect. At least we'd be like, "Hi, I know," so sorry, you know. And so you're still able to make friends, but it was just a different sort of pace, different protocol than what I.
Did you feel weird when we stopped wearing them?
I still feel weird.
I do too.
Not wearing it.
Yeah. I do too. It's like, because you never, some places you wear it, some places you don't, but like when I don't have it on, I'm like, it doesn't feel right anymore.
Yeah. When did we stop again?
It's been a few months for us, at least through the summer.
It was April though, right? Wasn't it April?
Yeah. I think you're right. I believe it was. Yeah.
I was filming in Ottawa then, and I was at the Farm Boy. I was at the Farm Boy and I was wearing my mask. Some people were wearing masks, some weren't. And I was like, I don't know. Like, I remember having that thought, like my body was like, I don't know. I don't know.
I know. You're like, it's just, you just end up feeling uncomfortable either way.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing, because we got used to something for the past 2 years. And then now it's like, okay, off. And you're like, what? So that's going to take time to adjust.
It takes time to adjust. I know.
Yeah, when I'm in places with like a bunch of people, like in close proximity, I still wear my mask just in case.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Just in case.
Somebody comes up, you're like scrambling to get it on.
Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? It's kind of like my third arm now. Like I don't leave without my mask. It's so interesting. It still takes getting used to, like anything.
Yeah, it does. So, okay, so I got way off track. I normally will start here, so I'll back up. Tell me a little bit about what got you into acting. Why did you want to become an actress?
Well, I started. So my parents had this thing with watching movies for adults in front of me.
Okay.
Yeah. So like I would just watch these movies with them, and I'm like, I'm a child. I don't think I'm supposed to be watching it. Just sit here and watch. But
I know when you're younger, you want to watch it, but it's uncomfortable when you're with your parents.
it is uncomfortable, and it's like they would cover my eyes during the love scenes. They weren't that liberal, but, so let me just put that out there. But yeah, like adults would be having conversations, and I'm like, I don't think I'm supposed to, but I'll just sit here. Look to my dad, look to my mom, and they're not saying anything, so I'll just watch and stay silent so they don't send me to my room. But so yeah, I used to watch movies with them and empathize with the characters a lot. One of the movies I remember watching, which kind of sparked my interest, was Waiting to Exhale. And I was young.
That's a great movie.
Yeah, I was young when I saw that movie. And Angela Bassett's character, Bernadine, that monologue, do you remember?
Oh, yeah.
Not gathering, she's throwing all of her husband's stuff in the wagon because her husband left her. And talking about what a sham her husband was.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're right. But I'm like I don't understand the emotional weight of it all. But for some reason, I connected with her, and I wanted to know like how she was able to do that, because I'd never been in that situation, but yet I was feeling what she was feeling, and I was like,
yeah, that's good acting.
Yeah,
when they can get you to feel what they're feeling, that's good acting.
That's good acting. So that's what prompted my interest, and also The Usual Suspects. So what's funny about The Usual Suspects is
that's a great movie.
It's a great movie, and again, I was so young when I saw it. And spoiler alert: so we find out that Kevin Spacey is Kaiser Soze, and my sisters and I would be like, they were much younger than I was, and they'd be like, oh my goodness, what if Kaiser Soze is in the house? Because the entire time, nobody knew he was, and he was at the police station the entire time. Nobody knew. He could be anywhere. And so to bully them, I'd be like, leave me alone, or I'm going to call Kaiser Soze. He's going to come and you. No, don't do that. Like, that was another movie where I was like, ooh, like that, how did you do that? And why am I invested in this story? And I'm thinking about it like months and months later.
Well, so you started like pretty early figuring out that you wanted to get into entertainment.
Yes, but I didn't realize that it was a job.
Right.
It just looked like something fun to do. I didn't know anything about the job part of it, the business part of it.
That's probably good.
Yeah, it's very nice. But I'm just like, that looks like fun. I want to do that. And I want to make people feel things by doing that.
Yeah. I think that's pretty great. So when did you take that step to do things? Did you do like theater in school? What got you into it?
So when I went to high school, I did the school play each year.
Yeah.
And so that's what, like, it was either I really wanted to do basketball. Yeah, that's the thing. So I really wanted to do basketball because all my friends were doing basketball.
Of course.
But then tryouts for the school play, and then the school play was going on at the same time. And I was like, oh, I've never been in a play. I really want to do a play.
So you had to choose.
So I had to choose. I chose the play. And
was it the right choice? Did you give up like a star career in basketball?
No, I don't know how tall the women are in the WNBA, but I'm 5'5", so I don't think that would have.
I think they're tall. I think they're tall.
Tall, from what I think. So, no, I think I made the right choice. And I remember at the end, it would either be the end of September or beginning of October, where the cast list would come out in the cafeteria.
Yep.
After school, as soon as the bell would ring, I'd like rush out of class to check if I made the cast list. And I'd like, it'd be this dramatic thing. So I'd just close my eyes, cover them, and then like look at the list and open my eyes, be like, oh, there's my name. Oh my gosh, all by myself. And so it would be an event for me. But I started in high school, and I worked at the library at the same time. So
Oh, very nice. My son's a librarian.
oh really?
Yeah.
Did he start like being a page in high school, or did
Yeah, he started working there, yeah, probably his sophomore year of high school. He edits the podcast for me, so he does all the hard stuff for the podcast, but his day job, he's a librarian.
That's really cool. I think once you know the Dewey Decimal System and your way of library, you're like a god.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he cracks me up with that because older people especially, they don't know how to look up a book on a computer. They gotta go, they still gotta flip through the little cards and to find it. So he has to help them with the computer part. And I think that's kind of amusing because I was the same way. They used to take us to the library when we were in school and teach us that, Dewey Decimal, and you'd have to look it up on the cards. There was no computers back then. And I guess, my generation and older, that's how we do it. But now libraries, it's all on the computer.
It's on the computer. I'm going to do it on the computer, but working at the library, like I knew where to find everything. So whichever library I go to, like if you give me a number, like I'll be able to find it.
Yeah, you can find it. That's a good skill to have.
It is.
It really is. Do you still read a lot?
I do read a lot. I have a book right beside me that I'm reading right now.
All right, yeah, let's see what we got here.
We've got Psycho-Cybernetics.
Psycho-Cybernetics. What is that? What's that about?
It's the original
to a new life.
To a new life. So yeah, it teaches you because it talks about the brain being a creative mechanism. I've read this book a couple times. A creative mechanism. So it just ways to improve your way of thinking about who you are. And
that sounds pretty good.
That's awesome. The guy who wrote this is a psychologist, and he's a plastic surgeon, I believe. I think.
Yeah.
And so, because the reason why he wrote this book is because he found that he would do plastic surgery on people, but their opinion of themselves wouldn't change. And so
I get that. So they still feel negative about themselves, even though their appearance has changed.
Exactly. And so this book was about feeling good about yourself, even despite it all, and making people realize that, maybe you don't have to change anything about yourself. It's just your way of thinking about things. Yeah,
that's actually, you're almost rewiring the way you think.
Exactly.
To get rid of the negative image. Yeah, that's interesting. All right, I'm on board with this book. Do you remember what your first paying acting job was? Was it a commercial or did you do a play? Do you remember what it was?
Give me a second.
I don't know, so I can't tell you, but I'm not trying to trick you. I can tell you.
I know it's not a trick. It's like it's been a long time. You just been doing this for a while. Paid with a contract. Ooh.
I'm betting commercial.
Well, for TV, yeah, it would be a commercial.
Yeah.
For theater,
you've done a lot of theater, haven't you?
I have done a lot.
Yeah. Do you prefer being in front of an audience or to work more on a movie or a TV show?
I like them both for different reasons. So why I love theater is because I feel like it's my medium. It's an actor's medium. I'm more control over what's being seen, and I can change things up a bit every night. And we
like that.
We have more time to work on our characters, story, and to collaborate. And there's more of a community I find in theater.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that it's a very tight-knit group.
Yeah, it's like you can't compare because you're with each other all the time. You're creating the story together all the time, so it's pretty great. And I love that part about theater. What I love about film and television is that it's more of the director's medium, so you have no idea what you're going to get.
Right.
You and I find when I work by myself and I work with a coach and then I go on set and then the director pulls something out of me and then you record. It's something that I've never thought of before or could never imagine. So I think that's pretty cool. And to catch things on film is pretty intimate, right? So when I'm watching TV, I'm like, oh, I'm in someone's life. I'm so close. Like I know your secret. I know what's going on. So I
like that.
I love that part about film and TV too.
Yeah. Yeah. That's I think that's a pretty good way to explain it because they're both kind of unique. You know, it's definitely a different form of acting, even though they're related.
Exactly. And the thing about, because I started film and TV a lot later than theater, I was in theater for a minute before then. And so what shocked me, even though I knew about this before getting into it, but once I got into it, how people just remember you because they see you on TV and in commercials, and so your face is always around.
Right.
They look you up.
Do you remember the first time like you went out in public and got recognized for something you've done?
Year where I did. So the first commercial I'd ever done was a cheese commercial. Where all I did was eat cheese and laugh and like drink fake wine. And so with that commercial, all my friends and family freaked out. They're like, oh my gosh, you were on TV. It was literally for 30 seconds.
Yeah, but it probably played a ton.
So many, that's the thing. And that's what I'm saying about like your face always being there, always being seen. It played a ton. So that freaked me out a little. But after that, I booked a national commercial for the Winter Olympics. And that was like on billboards, restaurants.
Nice.
Like Dundas Square. And so everybody and their mother recognized me from there. Everyone, like people from my past would call me up and be like, I saw you. I was just like, I need to hide. Like, where can I hide? Like, I was proud of the work that we've done and it was a great commercial. But I was like, wow, you really, like, people can, I didn't realize that part of the business until I started being on television.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
People seeing you all the time.
All the time. Yeah, and it's when your career, as it goes along, people will recognize you for different things.
That's right. So it happens more when I travel. And when someone would say, have I seen you somewhere? Have we met? I'm like, no. And no.
You don't tell them though, do you?
No, I don't. I'm like, no, we haven't. Like, I saw you on TV. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. I had a good friend of mine. His family owned this house that was built a couple hundred years ago. So it was an older house. And one of those ghost hunter shows came into the state, and they were looking for a place that was supposedly haunted to do one of their episodes at. So they chose my friend's house, which was supposed to be haunted. It was not haunted. We spent most of our childhood in that house. Nothing's going on. But they needed somebody outside the family to verify that it was in fact haunted. So they asked if I could do that because I was a friend. And I was like, oh yeah, I can tell you all about the haunted house that wasn't haunted. So I lied basically on camera, but they showed, I was only on camera for, I don't know, a minute maybe for the episode, but they showed that episode like a million times. I think it was Sci-Fi Network or something, but it was just on constantly. And so all of that, I'm telling you that because the one time that I was recognized for something, I was at the gym on the treadmill beside this woman, and that episode came on. So I'm running, and I know that my part's coming up. I'm just running. and so it comes on, and she's watching it, and she kind of just accidentally looks over to her left, and I'm running, and then she does the double take, looking at the camera, looking at me, and I was like, "It's me." So that was it. That's my story of being recognized.
I can relate.
It's me, and it was haunted. It wasn't. Apparently, I was believable, but I was lying.
That's acting.
Oh shoot! I know. I always say I couldn't act, but I was like, well, I did a little bit there.
There you go.
A little bit. So I don't know. Kind of funny. So okay, so we have to talk about 5 Days at Memorial, which is the new show. It's coming out like Friday.
Yeah, really soon.
Yeah, it comes out Friday on Apple TV. And I was telling you off camera, if Apple's doing it, I have yet to watch a bad Apple show, so it's going to be good. But tell me, what is 5 Days at Memorial about?
So 5 Days Memorial is basically about Memorial Hospital in New Orleans and what they went through during Hurricane Katrina. So basically what the patients and what the doctors had to go through during unforeseen circumstances and the sacrifices they had to make.
Is it based on a true story?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
The book, do I have that book here?
You've got like a whole library just sitting around you.
Because I love books. I love books so much.
Oh, you do? You've got it.
Yeah, 5 Days of Memorial by Sherry Fink.
Did you get to meet the author while you were filming?
No, but some castmates did. Mm-hmm. I didn't get to meet her, but I really, really wanted to, because as soon as I got the part, I bought the book, and I'm like, we've got to read. You got to,
you got to support. Does
yeah.
Does it hold up? So is the show? Are we? People that have read the book, are they gonna watch the show and go, that okay, they did pretty good?
Yeah, I believe they are. I would like them to believe. I would like to believe that they will say that.
I think they will. So who is your character on the show?
So I play Tarika Hill. She's a fictional character. So
in
real life, she doesn't exist, but in the show, she exists, and she plays a nurse. And she
that's fun.
The hurricane. So yeah.
Did you have to did they put you through some medical training, or to at least teach you some of the lingo? Did you have to learn some of that?
No, I've had to learn how to use some of the technical stuff, but not so much medical lingo, no, because we were just dealing with the hurricane. That was basically my job. So no, none of that though. So
if you were on a bus and somebody's having a medical emergency, you wouldn't jump up and say, I have played a nurse on TV, I can help.
No, I'd say, where's the nurse on the bus? Is there a doctor on the bus? Like really loud.
So how did the role come about? Was that just a straight audition, or did somebody say, hey, I think you'd be good for this role?
It was an audition. So since the pandemic, most of my auditions and most of my college auditions have been self-taped.
Yeah.
Or live on Zoom. So
do you prefer those as instead of being in person?
They both have their pros and cons. When you're in person, you get to play with someone near you.
Well, right. And you probably get a little more of a chance, right? Because they'll come back and say, okay, try it this way. Yeah, but if you're sending in a tape, you're not getting a second chance. It's either they like it or they don't.
Exactly. And also, but this audition in particular was live Zoom.
That's interesting. I think that would be, I don't know, that's a little different too.
It's fun because you get to read with someone live.
Yeah.
And you get to feed off of each other's energies.
If I was an actor, I think I'd rather read with somebody than do it myself.
Yeah. I mean, with the tape, you still have a reader, but doing it live and just feeling the energies of people, So it was a live Zoom in between 2 auditions that I'd gotten less than 24 hours prior. So I just need to add that in
It's
there.
a busy week.
And they're like, yeah, so your audition's at 11 a.m. tomorrow. And it's like 2 p.m. the day before. And
Nice.
I was like, okay, so yeah, we're doing this. And I got the scenes. So I confirmed. I got the scenes. I read it, and I was like, oh, this is well written. I really want to do this. And so like I rehearsed as much as I could, and I did my audition. And it just went by so quickly. I don't even remember how it went. It just went by
Yeah.
so quickly. I did it, and then I forgot about it. And about a month later, I was shopping online. I remember everything that happened that day. It was May 7th on a Friday of 2021. And I was shopping online. And I was having a really good day. It was a sunny day. I went out for a walk too. It was still like
Yeah.
pandemic time. I went out for a walk, came home, dropped my phone in the living room, and my agent called and I missed it. So, usually when your agent calls, it's because you've booked a role.
Right. That's
So
good news.
good news. So I checked my phone and I saw her name and I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, what? Did I book something? And so I listened to the voicemail and she's like, you booked a role, please give me a call, let's discuss. I'm like, oh my goodness, I wonder what it is. So I call her and she's like, yeah, you booked Tarika Hill. And the show went by another name just for privacy purposes at the time.
Yeah.
And so I looked it up in my email. I'm like, Tarika Hill, what audition is that from again? It's been like a month or so, right? And so I looked it up and I'm like, oh, this is the one, this is the one. This is it. Yes. And so I was so happy, crying, like, thank you.
Were you by yourself or were you with other people?
I was by myself.
Okay.
I was super loud.
Well, that's how I would be. I'd be super excited.
Super excited. So, the first person I called after my agent was my mom.
Of course, as you should.
Told my mother, and she was thrilled. And then I told my coach, and she was thrilled too. And then I was coming off my nerves, and then I had to get back on the phone. I got to get back on the phone with my agent to talk about details and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we filmed for a while last year. For the better part of last year, we filmed this.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a pretty long shoot. How many episodes is it?
It's 8 episodes, and I feature in 5.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's good. Is it like a limited series, or is there a chance that there will be a season 2?
It's a limited series.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. So we're going to get the whole story.
The whole story. It's an event.
Yeah, I know. I'm really excited too. A good medical drama is fun anyway, but then when you have one that actually is based on an event that occurred, that's pretty exciting.
It is, and I think it's such a great idea and a good time to tell this story, because when I talk to my family and friends, they can remember where they were when Hurricane Katrina happened. But
Yeah.
none of us were really close to the event, right? And so, you empathize with people that have gone through the hurricane, and then you move on about your business because you're not close to it, right? So this gives everybody a chance to see what actually happened and to form their own opinion.
Yeah, I think that's really exciting. My high school roommate, well, my college roommate, we went to high school together. My college roommate was a police sergeant on Bourbon Street in New Orleans when Katrina hit. So I've got pictures of him like in a helicopter and stuff when they were flying around doing some of the cleanup and that stuff. So he actually went through it. So I at least got to see it through his eyes. But you're right. When you're not there, it's just it's difficult to understand exactly how much people had to go through that were actually in that area. So I think that's one of the reasons I'm excited to see the show and kind of to get into that a little bit, put myself in those shoes. And I think that'll be a good way to do it, especially with a medical drama. That's going to pull on the heartstrings.
It is. It is. And there are so many parallels between what happened then and what's happening right now in terms of medical system, nurses, doctors, and the pandemic. There are just so many correlations where it causes us to just have a little bit more compassion for everybody else. So I'm looking forward to people reacting in that way, actually putting themselves in other people's shoes.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And you get, like, sometimes you get a doctor's viewpoint, but I think it's neat that they're including nurses with that, because nurses, they get a little underappreciated. And I mean, they work their butts off. Yeah, it's really exciting. So it comes out Friday on Apple. Do you know how many episodes are releasing Friday?
They're releasing 3 episodes on Friday.
That's what I thought. That's kind of the new thing. You release 3 and then 1 a week after that.
Exactly.
I like it that way because, like I enjoyed growing up when you only got 1 episode a week. So you had a whole week you could talk about it and kind of obsess over it. And binging's fun too. It is. But I think this way you get the best of both, because you can kind of really get into it, but then you got to wait for the next one. Yeah, that's exciting.
The reading part. I'm also a fan of watching things like once a week.
Yeah.
And I love streaming services and stuff, but I love watching things once a week. I would have groups with my girlfriends on different shows that we'd watch before.
Yes.
I'd be like, oh, did you catch the episode this Thursday? What do you think's gonna happen? What do you think it meant? It was a whole week to digest and analyze everything. And then we'd be watching the next episode at the same time in different homes and in our during the commercial break.
I know, that's the fun way to do it, I think.
Yeah.
Because the problem with binging is it's over so fast.
It is, and you don't get a chance to really take in the characters. Like, I find if I binge, then I don't get to know the characters that well. But when I watch things once a week and then the show's over, I miss the characters. Yeah,
see, I'm the same way. Because I think part of the problem with binging is what happens is you watch all that stuff, back to back to back to back. And at some point you get distracted. So you don't absorb it as well. There's only so much you can take in. You can't sit there for 8 hours and just be focused the whole time. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
There is one show that I watched. How many years was it? Maybe 3, 4. It was a French show called Damon, and I sat there and watched the whole thing in a day.
What was it called?
Damon, meaning the monster.
Oh, I wonder if I'd like that show.
Yeah, it was a Quebecois show, and it was very, it was just so intriguing that I had to watch the whole thing in one go, because I'm like, I can't live my life without knowing the ending.
All right, I'm writing it down. Do you speak French?
Le monstre. Yeah, I speak French.
Oh, very nice, very nice. All right, I'll have to subtitle it, but that's okay. I can do that. French is such a pretty language.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah, French is really nice. There's the French, they do really good quality TV shows. I've watched several shows that were French, and some movies too. It's really good. They do a really good job with it. So yeah, I'll look that one up. Yeah, not
some Quebecois, so it's like it was filmed in Quebec, and also based on a true story as well. So I think you might enjoy it. It's pretty intriguing. It's a lot.
Yeah. If you binged it, I'll take your word for it. I'm going to look it up. We will track it down. So when I have somebody on the show, I go around to the kids and my mother and everybody, and I'm like, where have you seen this person from? And sometimes I get nothing, sometimes they've seen. But now my oldest, she says, and she would know, because like the day after Thanksgiving here in the States, she starts watching the Christmas shows. But she said you were on a Christmas show or a Christmas movie. Is that right?
I was in a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
I was in a Christmas movie. Where I played a nurse in a Christmas movie.
Well, there you go. You're getting typecast.
I'm getting typecast, nurse.
I'm guessing nurse in a Christmas movie, not the same as nurse in a Katrina show.
But it was a great beginning, and I had a great time filming it. And I actually have another Christmas movie coming out soon. I can't say the name of it yet, but I'll let you know once it comes out.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, because she'll be super. I knew if she said you were in one, it was probably right. Canada loves filming Christmas movies.
We do. We have a lot of places here where you can't tell like where it is exactly. So I think.
Yeah, I found out that a lot of the New York Christmas movies are like in Vancouver. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay. And they're also like most of the Christmas movies are filmed in the summer.
Yeah, so it's Christmas all year round.
All year round.
All year round for us, which is fine for me because my birthday is actually near Christmas. So.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. How did your family take to you going into acting? Were they very supportive, or did it take them a while to get on board? How'd they react?
Mixed reactions. And so I've been thinking about this for a while. For the longest time, I was telling the narrative that my parents weren't that supportive in the beginning. But now that I think about it, I don't think that's necessarily true.
Yeah.
Now I see a different perspective because they were like, yeah, you can do this for now. Like while I was in high school.
They wanted you to have a backup plan, didn't they?
They wanted me, not a backup plan. They wanted the plan A to be something else.
Well, okay. Well, it's fair because acting really difficult to make a career out of.
Yeah. So they, but they came to every show, especially my mom. She's come to every theater show I've ever done, except for one that I did in Thunder Bay, which I understand because it's Thunder Bay, Ontario is far from...
A little far away.
Yeah, it's far
away.
See,
so they were supportive. They were on board.
You guys were supportive. You guys were on board. I mean, you vocalized that you didn't want me to do it, but with your actions, you were there.
Right. That's just parental worry.
Exactly.
That's just worry. You're like, oh, they're going to need a solid career because acting can be a little difficult and stuff. But they supported you. That's good.
They supported me quite a lot, actually. And so, like I said, my mom has been to every show. But I think she had the shock of her life when she saw me on TV for the first time.
Were you with her when she saw you the first time? Okay. Okay.
And they were like, Mom just like freaked out. Like she's like, oh my God.
Well, then it was real.
Yeah.
Maybe she can be an actress.
Maybe she can do this. Maybe she can do this. But no, they've been supportive.
Are they subscribed to Apple?
They will be by Friday.
Okay, good.
They will be.
I don't want to miss it.
I'm checking up on them this evening to make sure.
See, like with my parents, I would have to physically go to their house and sign them into it and put the show on for them. They would never be able to do it on their own.
By themselves? I don't know if... Maybe my parents would be able to. If not, we'd have to share a screen and I'd be like, okay.
Yes.
Press that kind of situation.
Yeah.
By Friday, they'll have a membership.
Yeah. That's exciting.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
Well, Malube, thank you so much. This has been the best. I knew you were going to be a good guest. This has been terrific. I'm so excited for the new show.
Me too. And thank you for having me. This has been such a great conversation. Very entertaining. Lovely talking to you.
Oh, thank you so much. So a couple little things before we wrap up. Yeah. So you mentioned the Christmas movie. Anything else that you're working on that we can kind of keep an eye out for?
Yeah. So there was another Lifetime movie that's just been released. June 24th, it was released, called Trapped with My Husband, where I play Marianne.
Are you the killer?
I don't know. Am I the killer?
I don't even know if there is a killer, but usually you say Lifetime movie, there's probably some drama in there.
You have to see it to find out. I don't know. Am I?
All right. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Everybody likes a good Lifetime movie. That's get your popcorn and just kind of settle in for the drama.
Exactly. And the drama kind of brings you in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, that's awesome. Yeah, very good. So last thing, where can we find you on social media?
So you can find me on Instagram.
I found you on there.
Yeah. So mostly on Instagram and on Twitter. Now Twitter, I'm working on updating. Like I just go on it to read everyone else's tweets.
Yeah. We all have Twitter, but most of us don't use it.
Yeah, it's just to read other people's tweets and then to move on with our day. But I'm gonna try and update that. But Instagram is where you can find me mostly.
Instagram's the nice one. That's where you put all the pictures and stuff up.
Exactly. And it's easy to update people because most of the people I know have Instagram, so it's a great way to connect.
I know it used to be Facebook, like everybody had Facebook, but now it's Instagram.
No, it's Instagram. I think Instagram, you just have more options in terms of the way you can make your pictures look.
Yes.
The way you can like publicize about things and stuff. I think Instagram just has more options.
Yeah, agree. I think it's probably the nicest of all the social medias. Until hopefully nobody ever screws it up, because they like when Facebook first came out, it was like the first one, or I guess MySpace, but then Facebook, everybody's like, oh, I can catch up with old friends and family and share pictures and stuff. And then it went south like really fast.
I think because there was so much hype about it. I think the thing with me, and even with Instagram, because I use it to, again, to show like what I'm doing for work and sometimes personal stuff, but I'm not on it 24/7 simply because I feel like I'm in everybody's business. And I'm
yeah, that's the whole point.
I'm like, that's a lot. Like I love catching up with my friends and seeing what they're up to, but I feel like it's makes me overstimulated if I see like what my friends are up to every single day.
Yeah.
Like,
do you ever worry that you've liked too many of their posts? Like okay, I've went from being supportive to now I'm on there too much.
No, because let's see, my habits, my stalking habits. I like all of my friends' photos because I like to support them.
See, me too. But then every once in a while, I'm like, well, they post a lot, and I'm always liking it. They're going to be thinking, what's up with this guy? He's on my stuff all the time. But then that's kind of the point.
That's the point.
I feel unsupportive if I don't like it.
But sometimes I take breaks, though.
You have to.
And then I come back and I'm like, oh, so and so posted this. It's been a minute. I'll like.
I'm guessing though that Friday you're going to be on there a little bit.
Am I? We'll see.
You gotta post, like about the show.
So I've been doing like little bits, just posting news articles about it and stuff. And I think I'm gonna start doing the countdown, and then on Friday, I will be posting about the show. When
you're on a show, do you take pictures of like a pause TV and put on Instagram?
A what TV?
Like do you pause the TV when you come on TV, take a picture, put that on Instagram?
I've done that before.
Yeah. And I would do that all the time.
And I will be screen grabbing for this. Absolutely.
Yeah, you have to.
And I will be putting it on Instagram. No, when it comes to promoting my work, I'm learning to be more shameless about it and be like, hey, we did a good job on this.
That's right. There's nothing wrong with that. That's good promotion.
It is.
Yeah. Well, when you have your next big project, you have to come back.
I definitely will. I look forward to speaking with you again. This has been a blast for me.
It has. This has been the best time I've had. It's went by so fast.
It did. When you were like, okay, so we're wrapping up, I'm like, I just got on.
Yeah, we just started, but it's been an hour. I know. Okay, hold on one second. I hope you guys enjoyed that. How wonderful was she? She unbelievable. I love her as an actress. I was like a fan coming in, bigger fan going out. She was absolutely lovely, just terrific. So the show is 5 days at Memorial, has to do with a hospital dealing with Hurricane Katrina. She plays Tarika Hill, and it's on Apple this Friday. First 3 episodes. Make sure that you check that out. I can't wait. I think it's going to be terrific. Thank you guys so much for tuning in again this week. If you haven't done so yet, we could really use your help with our YouTube channel, MeisterCon Pod. If you could go there and subscribe, it's free. Would really help us out. Really would appreciate that. You can find I think we're on 435 episodes right now. You can find all of those audio and video on our website, meistercon.com. If we're doing anything in studio, like this weekend, our good friends, we've got a group of friends that was in the 80s movie Monster Squad. They're in town this weekend, so we're going to be broadcasting an interview live from the studio. So if we're doing anything like that, that'll be on the website. If we're going to a convention, if we're going somewhere and doing something remotely, all that'll be on the website, meistercon.com. So definitely check that out. Thank you guys so much. Until next time, bye, everybody.